Tell me again about the teddy bears in his room.
Well, I think both he and Sarah Ferguson have delayed adolescence. I mean, they seemed happiest when they're behaving like 5-year-olds. And she's been very open about this. And, they're both very childish, particularly in their humor. They seem to want to return to this sort of halcyon days of childhood. And teddy bears are a big theme of his life. There was a teddy bear in the car when he left the wedding. He has, we're told from maids, there are 28 teddy bears which have to be put on his bed every day. There was a teddy bear sitting outside his apartment that when Elizabeth Day from the Times went to interview him. So this is a very strong motif. And, there are not many grown men who have 29 teddy bears on their bed. There's something odd there.
And he gets wound up when they're not in the right order.
Yes, I mean, he's very particular, and this again plays to some form of autism. So there actually is a perspex card with all the teddy bears on them, pictures of them, so that when the maids make up the bed, they know the order that they go into on the bed. But that's true of things like, he'll have a barbecue and he'll get upset because the meat is carved in a different way, or it's been, I mean, he gets obsessed by the most ridiculous things.
That childish element, this sort of stunted growth thing. Again, when I investigated that P word, I was looking in Germany into who are these people who want children. One of the theories, because no one really knows how they're made, what makes somebody into a person like that. And one of them was something happens in very early development, sort of 11 years old, let's say, that stunts their growth mentally. They stay that age. So, of course, the autism possibility is one of them. And I can see how, I mean, Michael Jackson's a key example. I mean, he was beaten terribly as a child. Jimmy Savile had pneumonia when he was very, very young. And
well, I mean, if he had the sexual abuse at the age of 11, I mean, that might explain things too. It's interesting. I mean, the big traumatic experience for Sarah Ferguson, I mean, I don't think one could say that she was in this world at all. But, I mean, her mother left the family to run off with an Argentinian polo player. And so a bit like Diana, brought up by her father rather than her mother. And she has, she's always said she has these, feelings of abandonment, this desire to please people. I think the need for often an older father figure as her lover. I mean, there have been several of those, including in her first sort of live-in boyfriend, Paddy McNally. So, I think the childhood is very important in trying to understand, what shapes the adult.
Yeah, you've got this strange person who, stayed in childhood, not just in his inability to keep his mouth shut in social occasions and his inability to care about saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, but also in wanting these young, very young women, if not children, but young women, it paints a picture to me of someone who really just got stuck in that place.
Yeah, I mean, their happiest time is presumably before a certain age, but let's say before 11, and that's where they want to return to.
That's a good point.
It'd be interesting, to have a psychiatrist or a psychologist read the book and see what they make of some of this behaviour.
Remind me why I've written in my notes, they used to gossip about it but stopped, brackets, audio device hidden, ?
Well, that was something that came from a member of staff who actually told me that she was warned about Andrew, that he was a bit of a groper and to keep her distance. And in fact, I think one member of staff left after approaches from Andrew. But they also, the staff were bugged by the Yorks. And therefore they had to be very careful what they said. They all were forced to sign NDAs, which is why a lot of them didn't talk to me and were really scared about it. But this one did, and had some very interesting things to say about the way that they behaved, which is very, very odd. Was very odd.
And the staff were warned to stay away at points. Was that
the staff warned each other? I mean, they weren't warned by anyone else. But, Andrew, I think there's one story of him, again, he was obsessed with female bottoms. And I think, he felt the droit de seigneur. He was the boss in the house. And I think he just kind of felt the staff were there to serve his needs. That was the feeling I got from the staff member.
And he used to send ballerinas back to his house, his place.
Well, they made the extraordinary decision to put him in charge of English National Ballet. And so one of his things was he would go to the performance and, take a fancy to a particular ballerina and send his private secretary or protection officer to go to the stage door and say, would she like to come and have dinner at Buckingham Palace or whatever? So that's how he kind of did his picking up of women.
And what was the sign that he started to show interest? It was a hand in a woman. It was a hand on a knee kind of thing, wasn't it?
Well, I mean, one of his pickup lines, he was pretty open about things and not very subtle. He would be sitting beside a woman at dinner and put his hand on her knee. I mean, he claims to be a great gentleman, but he was a bit of an oaf, really, about how he did his seductions. So girls would find themselves, or women would find themselves at dinner with, making polite conversation and suddenly find this hand on their knee, perhaps rather unwelcome. And there's a story I tell in the book, which was given to me by someone I've known 40 years, who was at a wedding. In fact, I think it was Prince Edward's wedding, where he went up to a woman he didn't even know and asked if she would like to dance, a married woman. And when she said no, he said, well, is a blowjob out of the question then?
Bloody hell.